I'd like to talk about these. And these. And these. And these. But not this. Or this. Because they don't have any. Yes, I'd like to talk about synthesizer presets, and in particular why Hans Zimmer doesn't use them, and it may not be the reason you first imagine. And perhaps more specifically, ask the question, should you use them? So let's start with Hanss. He is, as you probably know, a film composer. If you think about film composers and media composers and ask yourself why they might not use presets, think about that for a minute, pause the video. Welcome back. You may arrive at one reason in particular, and this is the reason that I imagine these sort of people who are doing high-end projects do not use presets. They are producing original work, original material, and they do not want to be seen as being derivative. I don't think Hanss wants anyone to point to one of his scores and says, "Oh, that sound on that movie, yeah, Hanss just lifted the preset from such and such a synth." That probably wouldn't do his reputation any good. So I think that is probably the reason most people would imagine Hans Zimmer does not use presets. Now, I watched his masterclass a while ago. You can see what I thought of it in a card up there, and I shall leave a link to it in the description. And in that video, he said he didn't use presets for a very different reason, and I thought that was very interesting. Now, he is a self-confessed geek. He knows his way around synthesizers. He can program synthesizers. And the reason he gave for not using presets was that when he composes, he hears a sound in his head. And he said it is far easier and faster for him to create that sound from scratch on a synthesizer rather than wade through dozens and dozens of presets, trying to find one which is similar and then tweaking it. Now, even if you have half a dozen soft synths, you have probably spent ages trawling through them looking for that perfect preset sound to go with a piece of music. It is certainly something I can identify with, and while I know my way around some synthesizers fairly well, I don't know my way around all the stupid amount of soft synths I have, to the degree that I would be able to actually create a sound that I was thinking of. I can possibly do this on some, but definitely not all of them. That is why I like using Complete Control. It brings together all your synths, or at least the NKS compatible ones, and lets you sort through them using tags. I made another video about that, card up there and link in description. No, Native Instruments is not sponsoring this video. It is just a very helpful and useful piece of software if you have a lot of synthesizers. So even with Complete Control and with the tags, I can still spend an inordinate amount of time looking for a particular type of sound. Now, I am a preset and tweak sort of person, so if I find something which is pretty close, I'm quite happy tweaking it to get the sound that I want. Now, in his masterclass video, Hanss gives us a little demo of his process, although it's basically just synth programming. He uses Yuhi's Zebra, or the dog Zebra as it has become known. It's a customized version of Yuhi's Zebra which they made for Hanss for his work on The Dark Knight. And if you have this, the dog Zebra, you also get the sounds, or the presets, shall we say, that Hanss used in the Batman Dark Knight movies. So I think the moral of the story, if there is one, is not to overburden yourself with dozens and dozens and dozens of synths. Just get a handful and learn to use them well. Now, this also begs another question which you may sometimes see in certain sections of certain forums. There are a group of people who think that using presets is cheating. Now, I can sort of see where they're coming from. You have this fantastic synthesizer which is capable of producing a gazillion sounds, and just to rely on perhaps a couple of hundred of those sounds that the programmers have created for that instrument may seem like selling the instrument short. However, not everyone is a programmer. Not everyone wants to be a programmer. There are people who are musicians who just like synthesized sounds but don't want to delve into the innards of how to program a synthesizer. So I have to nail my colours to the mast and say, if you can program a synthesizer and that is what you want to do to create sounds, to produce music, that is brilliant. But I really do not see anything wrong in any way, shape or form in using presets. Now, as mentioned earlier, if someone listens to a piece of music containing a particular sound, they may say, oh yes, they have used the preset from such and such a synth. Now, again, personally, I don't have a problem with that. I don't see anything wrong with it. Take the Yamaha DX7, for example. The piano sound appeared in just about every single pop record in the 1980s. I think the bass sound in that was very popular as well. Enya's Orinoco album sounded like a demo for the Roland D50. I actually really like the tunes on that album. And if we take a look at the instrument with the most used preset of all time, the piano, it only has one preset. Well, I think it's probably true to say that more music has been written for the piano than any other instrument. Imagine if Mozart or Beethoven was told, oh no, you can't use the piano, it's a preset instrument. I guess they'd probably have to write orchestral music. But I think that just highlights how ridiculous it is to suggest that using presets is somehow cheating. So where do you stand on the use of presets? Is it okay to use them, or is it in some way cheating? Do you create sounds from scratch, or are you a preset and tweak person, which I confess I mainly am? Let me know in the comments. We could have a little discussion about it. I hope you found this interesting, perhaps mildly entertaining. If you have enjoyed the video, perhaps you would like to consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you, and ringing the bell so you get informed of new videos as soon as I release them. And clicking the big thumb would be a massive help as well. So thank you very much for doing that. As always, I really do appreciate you spending time watching my videos. So thank you again. If you have enjoyed this video, then I think you might enjoy these as well. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you again very soon.